Alright, today we're going to work on using manipulatives to understand fractions. So I have all these awesome magnets, as you guys can see up here, some over here as well, and we're going to use these to try to understand fractions better. Alright, so we have this red bar right here to represent 1. It could be one pizza, it could be one donut, it could be one class period. This right here represents 1. And as you can see, if I want to cut it in half, half of 1 would be right in between the beginning of 1 and the end of 1. So this little magnet right here will represent 1/2. And a lot of people have a hard time understanding that when you take two fractions, like 2 halves, that is the same as 1. But when you look at it, visually, you can see that 1/2 plus 1/2 equals 1. How that would look mathematically is take 1/2 plus 1/2, and that would equal 2 halves. And then if you go back to our standard saying that we always use in this class, top divided by bottom. Whatever's on top divided by whatever's on bottom, and that is going to equal your answer. In this case, 2 divided by 2 is 1. So we've proved it visually, and we've proved it mathematically. Okay, here's a quarter right there. 1/4. So 1/4 is going to be exactly half of 1/2. Halfway in between. So if you have 2/4, 2/4 is going to equal 1/2, which makes sense. Because if you take 2/4 and you reduce that, it's going to reduce to 1/2 very easily. Okay? So let's see how many fourths does it take to equal 1. Well, 2/4 is half of 1. 3/4, 4/4, which makes complete sense that 4/4 equals 1, because top divided by bottom, 4 divided by 4 is also equal to 1. Okay, let's use these circular manipulatives here to reduce 2/6. Okay, 6/6 is equal to 1. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6. 6 divided by 6 is equal to 1 whole circle. Okay, but we're going to get 2 of these. 2/6. And let's reduce this to a fraction that's easier to work with. Here we have 2/6. Alright? I'm going to take 1/3. Actually, I'm going to take 1/2 and see if this is equivalent. What we're trying to do is you're trying to find manipulative, these pieces right here, something that will equal 1/6. 1/2. Does 1/2, can that be used for 1/6? No, it's clear that these two are not compatible with each other. Let's try 1/5. Nope, 1/5 is too small, 1/2 is too big. Let's try 1/4. Nope. Getting closer, but not quite equivalent. When you're reducing, you're finding a fraction that is equivalent or the same size as what you're working with. Okay? So let's go ahead and take 1/3. Let's see if that works. 1/3 is exactly the same as 2/6. Okay? So now we've reduced 2/6 to 1/3. Okay. These fractions are pretty fun to work with. If you look at the back of each of these, they have percentages. Alright? So 1/6 is equal to 16.6%. That will help you guys understand how to convert from fractions to percent. Okay, we're going to take 2/3 right now, though, And notice the two, each one of these thirds is 33.3%. So we're going to take 2/3 of a circle and try to fit two of them and try to figure out what percent of a circle this is. So if this was a pizza, what percentage of the pizza have you eaten? All right. Reposition that. All right. So we're going to take 1/3, which we've already figured out is 33.3%, and add that to another third, which is also 33.3%. You add those up, you're going to see that 2/3 is equal to 66.6%. All right, let's have you guys figure out what percentage is 2/6. Okay, so basically we're just going to add the percentages up, 16.6% and 16.6%. Okay, 16.6% plus 16.6%. Okay, 6 plus 6 is 12, carry your 1. 6 plus 6 is 12, plus 1 is 13, carry your 1. So it's going to be 33.2%. Alrighty, and hopefully that makes sense. Alright, here's a little story problem. In real life, when you have a math situation, there's not going to be a magical computer that will magically print out a problem for you. In real life, you're going to have to take data, interpret it, make sense of it, and then you'll do some calculations to determine the answer to your problem. Okay, so Rory lives 2 3/4 miles from school. How far did he ride if he rode his bike to school and then back? A good problem-solving strategy is to draw a picture. Okay, so here is his house, and here is school. Okay, small school. Anyway, so he's going to ride from point A, which is his house, to point B, which is school. And we already know going there is 2 3/4 of a mile, and then coming back is 2 3/4 of a mile. So how much total ground did he cover? He went there, so that's 2 3/4. And then we're going to go back. I'm going to make a mistake. Tell me what's wrong with this. Subtract 2 3/4. Does that make sense? That his total number of miles would be less. No, it doesn't. So this would not be a subtraction sign, it would be an addition sign. Okay, so when you're adding fractions, the denominator stays the same. Okay, and this is only true for when you're adding fractions. When you're multiplying fractions, there's a completely different set of rules. Okay, so when you're adding fractions, 4, the denominator's 4, so the denominator stays the same. Then you actually add and do some arithmetic for the numerator. 3 plus 3 is 6. I took this 3 and this 3, added them together, got 6. All right, and then you add your whole numbers. 2 plus 2 is 4. Okay, so he did 4 6/4 of a mile. All right, so we already established that 4/4, 1 2 3 4, is equal to 1 whole. Okay, so there's a quarter of a pizza, quarter of a pizza, quarter of a pizza. If each person eats a quarter of the pizza, and there's 4 people, you would have eaten the whole pizza. But we don't have 4/4. We have more than that. We have 6/4, which would look like this. That's what 6/4 is right here. 1 2 3 4 5 6. Pretend that's a fourth, not a half. Okay? So how much is 6/4? Well, 6/4 is 1 plus 2. Okay? So we're gonna rewrite this. This is 4/4. This is 2/4. Now, doesn't that equal a total of 6/4? So we're going to take this 4/4 and we're going to change it to a whole number, which is 1. Okay? So we're going to take this whole number and we're going to add it to the whole number there. 4 plus 1 is 5. But we subtracted 4/4 from the 2/4. So that becomes 2/4. Alright? So your answer is going to be 5 1/2. Because remember, the extra 2/4 is actually 1/2. So that would be your answer. Make sure you circle your answer. Alright, let's go ahead and solve this problem. You have 5 3/8 minus 1 1/8. Alright, so just like when you're adding fractions, when you're subtracting fractions, a lot of the rules apply. So the denominator is 8. So the denominator stays 8. Then you're going to subtract the numerator. 3 minus 1 is 2/8. Then I'm going to make a mistake that a lot of people make. Oh, 5 and 1, that's 6. Incorrect. Make sure you look at your signs. 5 minus 1 is going to be 4. Okay? And then we know that 2/8 is equal to, take 2/8, there's 2 of them here. 2/8, and that is going to be equal to exactly 1/4. Okay? So 2/8 equals 1/4. So this is going to be 4 1/4. Alright, so hopefully these manipulatives help you kind of understand and see what's going on with fractions. Have a good day. That's the end of this video.